What up, YouTube? Flash Beats back for another video. In response to a number of the comments that I've been receiving from San Francisco 49er Nation, I decided to make this video. Listen, let's make no mistake. Of all the 32 teams in the NFL, the team that I respect the least is your team. I'm not even going to front about that. I'm not going to mince words. I'm not going to be anything other than straightforward about that. All right. And it stems from pretty much what happened last season. Our two teams met up in Philadelphia at the championship game. Y'all lost. All I heard was a bunch of excuses. If Brock Purdy was in there, we'd have did this, we'd have done that. Well, all I know is at the time of the coin flip, Brock Purdy was your quarterback. And y'all lost. And to this day, I have not heard not one of y'all be real about that. So this attitude that I have towards y'all, it is what it is. Your players were the biggest suckers, punks, crybabies I've ever heard in my life. Deebo Samuels, I got no respect for him. None. Christian McCaffrey, his comments about Jalen Hurts, no respect for him. You're a professional athlete. You're going to sit up there and just say, you force him, or who was it? Your kicker, I think. You force him to play quarterback and all this other stuff, disrespecting another professional athlete that you're competing with. I don't respect that. Kittle, Nick Bosa talking trash about their physicality, all that. So I don't respect them guys. And that just is what it is. You like that, you like it, you don't like it, hey look. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Now that's just the personal part of it. Now, with regards to your team, congrats. You're in the championship game. I don't think you're the best team left in the NFL. I think Detroit is likely to beat you. And I believe that if you do somehow get past Detroit, you're not beating either Baltimore or the Chiefs. And the reason I think you're not is because of Brock Purdy. I just don't think he's good enough to win it for you. Your defense is good, but I don't think you have an 85 Bears defense that was able to bring a championship to Chicago despite having Jim McMahon, who Brock Purdy is a decent comp for. I think McMahon probably even had a better arm. And it was a little bit more dynamic, to be honest with you. Your defense is good, but your defense isn't like the 2000 Ravens that allowed Trent Dilfer to win as the quarterback. I don't think so. I don't see no Ray Lewis on that team. I like Warner, but I don't see Ray Lewis on that team. I like Funga, but I don't see a Rod Woodson in that secondary. I don't see a Tony Siragusa, right? I like Bosa, but I think you're a little light in the behind a little bit. Like you got a good tackle that's big and athletic. You can contain him. Whatever. I don't even want to go into the logistics of the team, but I don't think your defense is so good that it's going to play lights out every single week that it can enable you to win with a guy like Brock Purdy at quarterback. Your defense is good, but I don't think it's a 2002 Tampa Bay Buccaneers level good to where you can win with a Brad Johnson or Trent Dilfer, whichever one. I get those two guys mixed up, right? That's all I'm saying. And for those of you who said that I haven't watched you, I watch your team. I watch you all the time. I watch teams that I like and I watch teams that I hate. Of course I watch the 49ers. All year. This thing was projected to come down to 3 teams. Dallas, San Fran, or Philadelphia. So, of course, I watch Dallas and I watch San Fran, hoping you lose, but I watch. Okay? Why do I think Brock Purdy's not good? I believe Brock Purdy went absolutely last in the draft for a reason. And no, I don't think he's Tom Brady. I don't see the comp between him and Tom Brady. Tom Brady went last because he's not very athletic. And he didn't really, turn heads in college. But Tom Brady has something that greats have that others aren't always able to manage at a combine. And that's the clutchness, the clutch gene. And a will that is unmatched. And also being 6'4" tall enables him to have a vision that a guy like Brock Purdy doesn't have. How big is Brock Purdy? I'll be shocked if he's 6 feet tall. Let's look this up here. I should look this up beforehand, honestly. Excuse me. .6'1". Oh, yeah, really? I doubt it. I think that's a lie. Look like he's about 5'11", honestly. Okay? They say 6'1". I don't believe that. But they got Brock Purdy. And that's why it's not like him. Now, can a short quarterback be successful? Sure. Russell Wilson was a great short quarterback. Do I think Brock Purdy is as talented as Russell Wilson? Hell no. Russell Wilson, 3rd round pick. As people look at him, they say, okay, yeah. Drew Brees, I believe, was a 2nd round pick. Because people saw the pop. They saw the arm. They saw the intelligence of a Drew Brees. You see, Brock Purdy is a little engine that could type of guy, right? That San Francisco found, didn't intend on starting, but because others in front of him got hurt, Trey Lance Garoppolo got hurt, which tells you the San Francisco 49ers as an organization first wanted Trey Lance. Look at how many picks they gave up for him. They know what everybody sees. For the athlete, the guy with the arm, the guy who I will tell you right now will have a better career than Brock Purdy. Yeah. When we revisit this in 10 years, we'll see. I still bank money on that. But let's get to what's going on for real, for real. Why I pick y'all to lose, why I don't think you can win with them. And it's because I watch them. You see, I'm not one of them guys, man, that get all caught up in, just numbers and stats and all of that. And the reason being because I know I don't see football as just individuals doing things. I see the whole picture. I see both the whole picture and I see the individual players and the individual parts and judge the individual parts. So we judge the whole unit and individual parts. For example, let's take the San Antonio Spurs for those, just try to explain where my mind is coming from. Let's take the San Antonio Spurs of the, 2010s. Tim Duncan. They had a little guy named Tony Parker as the point guard. Tony Parker, as a result of playing with Tim Duncan, has at least 3 titles. It could be 4, but at least 3 as a starting point guard of the San Antonio Spurs. You have another guy like a Chris Paul, for example. No titles. Played for New Orleans, played for the Clippers, played for different teams at times. If someone was to ask you who's the better player out of Chris Paul or Tony Parker, I don't think it's a question that Chris Paul is the better player than Tony Parker. However, Tony Parker might have a better winning percentage because he played on San Antonio. Now, why is that? How do you explain it? It's easy. Tony Parker played with Tim Duncan, who the team was built around the talent of Tim Duncan. So Tony Parker will dump offs, catch the offense in a situation where they're worried about and focus on Tim Duncan. I can get to the rim, score. That's one thing. Chris Paul is the guy that the team is built around. You understand? So his task is a little harder. Now let's bring it to what we're talking about here. The best player on the San Francisco 49ers, the team that Brock Purdy is the quarterback of, ain't Brock Purdy. The best player by a mile is a steroid-using running back named Christian McCaffrey. That's the best player on the team. Definitely on the offense. You know how I know that? Besides the eye test, which you guys are going to be in denial of, you're going to sit here and try to convince people that Brock Purdy passes some eye test that honest people know that he doesn't, right? You're going to try to do that. So I'm going to get away from the eye test because that's so subjective, and only honest people are going to be real about that. Like people in denial, they're going to be in denial about that. So let's just look at the so-called win percentage of Brock Purdy. Show me the difference between his win percentage and the win percentage of a guy named Jimmy Garoppolo, who not only won most of the games, who started off actually like Garoppolo was like 5-0 in his first 5 starts, 6-0. Jimmy G can't lose. But people who were smart like myself, I knew Jimmy G wasn't really all that. So we were able to surmise that it's the talent guys around him, coupled with the coach, the hellified system that became the perfect storm to work together. But it was always the thing with Jimmy Garoppolo. He's going to he's going to get to a situation, he plays against a certain team that's able to take away the strengths of the team and that is able to expose him, put him in a situation where now we got to rely on him. And when that happens, what happens to him? He folds like a cheap lawn tent. The other problem with Jimmy Garoppolo, the real problem, honestly, couldn't stay healthy. That was really, really, the real problem. Now, with Brock Purdy, actually, so we were able to conclude that it wasn't Garoppolo, but it was the system and the team. Brock Purdy actually has this one little advantage that Jimmy Garoppolo didn't have. And that is, instead of Mostert, instead of the other running backs he had, they went and got Christian McCaffrey from Carolina. Perfect dual threat running back, right? What we've seen from Brock Purdy is a guy that, winning these games, those winning percentages, all of that, right? Okay. Let's look at this here. Let's look at the 4 losses that Brock Purdy lost in, because I'm not quick to give him credit for the wins. I don't. My position is Christian McCaffrey dominates in those games. You're talking about a guy who led the league in rushing. Best dual threat running back in the league. Best player on the San Francisco 49ers, Christian McCaffrey. Let's look at the 4 losses. When the San Francisco 49ers suffered their first loss this year, it was against the Cleveland Browns. Besides Debo getting hurt in the game, which shouldn't matter because people jump on other quarterbacks. They don't really care when certain players get hurt, right? Christian McCaffrey against the Cleveland Browns runs 12 carries, 54 yards. Barely 3 yards a carry. Or a little bit over 3 yards a carry. Yeah, whatever. And they lose to the Cleveland Browns. In that game where Christian McCaffrey ran for 54 yards, Brock Purdy is 12 of 27. Which isn't even half his passes completed. Not even 50% completion. For 124 yards and an interception and 1 touchdown. What Christian McCaffrey is. 54 yards. He proceeds to go on a 3-game losing streak. Next game against the Minnesota Vikings, Christian McCaffrey runs for a whopping 45 yards on 15 carries. What happens when Christian McCaffrey runs for 45 yards? Brock Purdy, here, he goes 21 of 30, 272 yards. Not bad for those who are impressed with passing yards, which I am not. One touchdown, 2 interceptions. And the loss to the Vikings. But you see the pattern here? Christian McCaffrey, around 50 yards or under 50 yards. San Francisco 49ers lose the game. Next loss. How many yards Christian McCaffrey got? 54 yards against the Bengals. 12 carries, 54 yards. Brock Purdy didn't do what? Throws 2 interceptions. Now here he throws for 365 yards. You know, you're getting blown the hell out. So you got to start coming back. When you start coming back, what happens is the defense tends to start playing off. So I watched the game. Yeah, they changed the coverage, which allows you to start getting low yards there, cheap yards. One touchdown though for Purdy, 2 interceptions. When McCaffrey is 54 yards. Let's look at the other loss to the Ravens, which was a complete debacle. Now in this game, what's crazy is McCaffrey actually runs for 103 yards. But if you watch the game, you see a lot of that was garbage time stuff. A lot of stuff like that. And it was a blowout. So blowouts, a lot of times, they don't really count those things. Those things kind of count games that matter. But McCaffrey, when he's unable to be, dominant in the game, and then it's on Brock Purdy's back, he goes 18 to 32, 255 yards. And here, 4 interceptions. 4 of them things. So people like me who are not on the Brock Purdy train, they see a certain pattern. And that is, if Christian McCaffrey ain't getting off, ain't dominating in that game, Brock Purdy don't carry the team. Which led me to the conclusion, you contain Christian McCaffrey, or God forbid, stop Christian McCaffrey, you beat the San Francisco 49ers. So you can come in the comments section and praise the guy who's just under center all you want. You can say people hating on him all you want. But the fact remains, some of us see football at a little higher, deeper level than some of you. And they understand that there are circumstances that lead to certain people having success. And it's just really that simple. Brock Purdy is a guy that is riding the Christian McCaffrey train. So don't hate on people on TV who are saying that Christian McCaffrey is really the MVP of the team. They know what they're talking about. So really, Detroit Lions, and this is the other thing I need you to understand. Much of Brock Purdy's success, much of Brock Purdy's yards that he's getting in those games where the 49ers do win and blow people out and all of that, look at Christian McCaffrey's yards. You see, because what happens is, even in the game against the Packers that you just won, Brock Purdy, he has the one little pass to Kittle. Yeah, which more of a broken coverage. Great play by Kittle. Yeah, all right, I give him credit for making the pass. That's good. Good for you. The rest of the game, what is he doing? But you know what does happen? In between that, in that time, Christian McCaffrey breaks off a long run for a touchdown. Christian McCaffrey does that. When Christian McCaffrey does that, you see what the Packers start doing? Keying in on Christian McCaffrey. Once they key in on Christian McCaffrey, you see other stuff becomes very easy. It's just football. Most of those yards that this guy is getting is because defenses are not keying in on him. It's the benefit of having a great running back, even though he's probably juicy. Whatever. But that's the benefit of having a great running back. All right, so unless this guy does go up against a team that really has a legit defense, like the Chiefs defense, who McCaffrey is not going to just run all over, or Baltimore defense that we've seen can contain him, he's not going to get the respect of guys like me. You like that, you like that. You don't, you don't. Hey, I don't like your team. And y'all fan base, because y'all sit there and complain and cry all last year, I don't like y'all. It is what it is, man. It's a healthy respect. It's football and all of that. It ain't personal. It's not something outside of the game, but it is what it is. I don't like y'all football character. Bottom line. Peace out, my people. Well, as far as the Eagles, you're right. Y'all better than us. It's more organizational, honestly. And if you want to know my critique of the Eagles, check my last video. Peace out.